Hi boys and girls, it's me, Mrs. Alaman. Today we're going to do a directed drawing. And today we are going to make this beautiful butterfly. Since it's spring, butterflies remind me of spring. So these are the things that you are going to need. You are going to need a blank piece of paper, and rather than holding it horizontal or vertical, we are going to be holding it horizontally. Okay? Or hamburger hot dog, we're gonna hold it hamburger, okay? You're also gonna need a good pencil, a good eraser, and a Sharpie to trace the lines, and anything that you would like to color. Mrs. Ullman has colored crayons, but you might use colored pencils or markers or even watercolors if mommy lets you, okay? You ready to get started? Here we go. Okay, boys and girls, now remember, this is what we're going to end up making, and let's see how we start. Okay, the first thing you want to do is make sure your paper is horizontal, not vertical, so that way your butterfly fills up the whole area. Okay, then the first thing we're going to do is we are going to start. Now remember, when you're doing directed drawing, not to push too hard. You want to push kind of lightly so that way you can erase if you make a mistake. We're going to start with the butterfly head. Then we are going to add on his body, and it kind of looks like a hot dog. And then after that, we're going to add on the butterfly tail, which kind of looks like even a smaller hot dog that's coming off the bottom of his or her body. Okay? Then we're going to have to add some wings. And we're going to start right here, right about where his head meets his body. And we're going to come all the way out, almost to the end of the paper, and we're going to bring it all the way into the bottom of his body before his tail. And we want to make sure we make our wing nice and big so that way it fills up the whole paper, okay? So there's the other wing. And is it okay if it's not exactly perfect or it doesn't look exactly like Mrs. Ullaman's? Yes, it's okay. Every butterfly looks completely different. So you just do what looks good to you, and I am sure it's going to look amazing. Now here's the bottom butterfly wing. It's going to come all the way down here, and then it's going to come up all the way like that. And the other wing is going to come all the way down and come up like that. Is it starting to look like a butterfly? Yeah, it sure is. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to add butterfly antennas. So coming up here to the top of the head, we're going to make a nice big line and then kind of make a little swirly like that. And the other side, we're going to come all the way up and make a little swirly like that. Now, for eyes, what we want to do is we're going to make big circle eyes. And if you have any pencil mark that you need to erase, or if you make any mistakes, I mean, my antennas came down kind of far, so I'm going to erase that a little bit. It's okay to do some erasing. Just whenever you erase, make sure you brush all the crumbs off your paper so your paper stays nice and clean, okay? And my butterfly is going to be a girl butterfly. And so I'm going to add eyelashes. 1, 2, 3. But you can decide if your butterfly is going to be a boy butterfly or a girl butterfly. You decide, okay? And then inside the eyeball, I'm going to make a big circle because my butterfly has big eyeballs. You with me? Okay, just give me a second to catch up. Now, for the nose, we're going to make a little tiny heart. It's going to go like that and like that. And if it's hard for you to make a heart, if you cannot make a heart, do not worry about it. You can put a little circle there. You can even put just a little half a circle there. And now I'm going to color in the eyeballs here. Later, when I do my tracing, I'm going to trace it with my Sharpie. Don't want to lose my view. Okay. Now we're going to have to start decorating the wings. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come way over here on the side of the wing, and I'm going to follow this line right here about 2 fingers in. So I want to give myself plenty of room to color so that my stripes are not too skinny. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. Oh, you know what Mrs. Alaman forgot? I forgot to put a smile on my butterfly. Here we go. There, now I have a happy butterfly. All right, back to my wings. I already did this line here, and I did this line here. Are you with me? Now I'm gonna do the line down here at the bottom, the same thing. I'm just gonna come out and just follow the line of the wing. And here I go over here, there. And is it okay that it's not exactly like Mrs. Alaman's? Yes. Is it okay that your butterfly is maybe a little bit smaller or a little bigger? Absolutely. All butterflies are different and art is subjective. So as long as you are happy with your work, I'm happy with your work, okay? So now we're gonna do kind of like a scallop or a loopy loop. We're gonna start up here and we're gonna do 3 half circles. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh, look, Mrs. Alaman, I didn't make my circles big enough. Is that okay? Sure, it's okay. I'll just add some more. No big deal. And if you have a couple more or less, is that okay? Absolutely. I'm gonna go to the other side, do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Well, had almost room for 4 on each side. Now, at the point of each of these, I'm gonna draw a line all the way to the butterfly's body like that. Do you see that? Here we go. Perfect. And remember, if you make a boo-boo and you need to fix it, just get your handy eraser. You can either use one like this, or you can use the eraser that's the back of the pencil. Either one of them will work just fine, okay? Down here, I'm gonna do the same thing. 1, 2, almost had room for 3. 1, 2, almost a full 3. And down here though, at the bottom wings, I'm gonna put a big circle right here. So I'm gonna make it look a little different on my bottom wings. Does that sound good? I'll give you a second to catch up, but I think I'm just about done. So you have a choice here. If mommy will let you use your Sharpie, we're gonna trace all of our lines with the Sharpie. If mommy says, I'd rather you not use a Sharpie, you can always use a black crayon to trace the lines. You decide, and mommy and daddy can decide what you're going to use. But I know we've used Sharpie in class for a long time, so I know you guys know how to use a Sharpie. And we only use Sharpie on our picture, never on anything else, right? And we're gonna trace our lines here. And if you need more time, Mrs. Alaman's recording this and we can always play it back for you later so you can catch up on some of the parts that you might miss. If you're one of those types of people that just really take your time and you want your detail to be very specific, I've recorded this so you'll be able to pull it up and watch it again later on. So don't feel rushed, okay? I'm just gonna trace all of my marks with the Sharpie here. Trace my little heart nose. Trace my mouth. Don't want to forget my antennas. And it's okay if you're not as fast as Mrs. Alaman. I've been doing this for a long time. So I tend to go a little bit fast, and that's okay if you take a little bit more time. I want you to be happy with your work. Now, do you notice how Mrs. Alaman wasn't exactly on the line right there? Is that okay? That's gonna be okay because I'm going to use my eraser and erase all the pencil mark afterwards. So I'm not gonna worry if I'm not exactly on the line. That's what a good eraser is for. Here we go. And I'm gonna draw those lines in. Trying not to forget any of the lines. I'm going to do the other side now. I bet your butterflies are looking amazing. I cannot wait to see them all done. It's gonna look awesome. How many of you guys have seen butterflies outside? It's spring, the sun is out, all the flowers are starting to come into bloom. I've seen a lot of butterflies out as I've been taking walks. Maybe you have too. Now, if you decided that you didn't want to trace your butterfly, you could start coloring your butterfly. You do not have to worry about tracing it if you choose not to, or maybe if you don't have a Sharpie or a black marker or crayon and you decided, you know what, I don't want to do that. I just want to color my butterfly. That's okay, you can do that too. Ta-da! I think I have them all. Now I'm going to take a really good eraser here, and all those marks that Mrs. Alaman did where I missed the line here, I'm just going to erase it like that. And whenever I erase, I always brush the crumbs towards me so I can get them all cleaned up afterwards. I don't want the crumbs on my picture because when you color with crumbs on there, it's not smooth and pretty. Sometimes it's bumpy. So I want to make sure I get all the pencil marks off, just like this. How's your butterfly coming along? Is it coming along nice? Are you happy with it? If you're happy, I'm happy. Awesome. I cannot wait to see your butterflies. I'm almost done with this part. I don't know if I'm shaking my camera as I'm erasing. Sometimes Mrs. Alaman pushes really hard. I don't know, maybe you do that too. Brushing off those crumbs. Now, once I erase all the pencil mark, it's going to be ready to color. Now, maybe you have watercolors and your mommy or daddy is letting you use watercolors. You can do that. Or maybe you have color pencils. That would work wonderfully. Maybe you have twistables. Maybe you have crayons. Maybe you have special markers you want to use. You get to use whatever you want to use to color your butterfly, okay? You decide what you want to do. Mrs. Alaman has her crayons, so I'm going to use my crayons. Now that we're at this part, I'm going to let you finish up your butterfly all by yourself, and you can take all the time you need to color. And again, if you need to see any more of this, I'm going to put it on our Google Classroom, so you'll be able to watch it again if you need to, or anybody that wasn't able to, if you want to do it with them, maybe a brother or sister, you guys can do it then. Remember, this is how your butterfly is going to look when you're all done. Can you do different colors there? Absolutely. And Mrs. Alaman always likes to do a background so everything is colored up really nice. And don't forget to take a picture of your butterfly and you when you're all done so Mrs. Alaman can see how your butterfly turned out. Okay? Here we go. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you had a fun time doing your directed draw with Mrs. Alaman. And I cannot wait to see a picture of you and your completed butterfly when you're all done. Make sure you have mommy send it to me, okay? Until next time, I'll see you later.